Hello everyone! In this video, we will go through the process of creating a small but substantial interactive Alice world with the goal of eventually running it on the VR. If you are not familiar with Alice 3 or want to learn how to set up Alice 3 on VR, then click on the links appearing in the corner to watch our previous videos. We encourage you to follow along as the tutorial happens. Throughout the video, feel free to pause whenever you want to copy the code or take a moment to test the game. Also, make sure to save periodically while you do this project, and check how to restore a backup version on the website just in case. Step 1. Planning the project. The first step is to brainstorm and plan the Alice world we want to create. There are many methods to do this, such as drawing maps, flowcharts, scripts, and there are guides on the Alice website for these. But to simplify things a bit, we will just list down what we want our Alice world to do in a logical order. So, for starters, we know that the Alice world is going to be interactive, since we want to use the VR controllers. We will go over the controls later. There are many types of interactive worlds that involve exploration, stories with interaction, and games. To narrow things down, we decided to make a game and not an exploration or narrative-based world. Since we're making a game, there probably should be some objectives to fulfill. To do this, we will decide on a point system, with the win condition of collecting all the points. Let's call the points treasure. In this case, the treasure is being represented by rubies. At this point, we can decide the theme and the aesthetic of the video game. Since our goal is to collect treasure, one possible idea is an oceanic theme, with the treasure hidden amongst the props in the sea. Lastly, the player will have to control a clownfish. To move the fish, we can assign controls. We will use the X button to move forward, the Y button to collect treasure, the left and right arrow keys to rotate, and the up and down buttons to move vertically. The camera should follow the player from the back as they move. Note that these controls will work on both a computer keyboard and a VR headset because the arrow keys on the keyboard map to the primary joystick, the right one, and the X, Y, A, and B buttons on the keyboard map to the joystick X, Y, A, and B buttons. Next, to make the game more interesting, let's add some form of challenges and defeat conditions. To do this, we will add antagonists, sharks. If the player goes out of bounds, above the sea level, or below the ground, they lose. If the player collides with a shark, they also lose. Finally, sharks move around randomly, but they move to the player if the player is close. Lastly, we can think of the gameplay structure as follows. We start the game, enter the play state where the player can interact with the game. Afterwards, depending on the player's actions, they enter the win state by collecting all treasure, or lose a state by being out of bounds or colliding with a shark. Finally, if the player wins or loses, they can restart the whole game. Here is the summary of our brainstorming session. We are creating an interactive video game with win conditions and challenges. The goal of the game is to collect all treasure. It is set in the ocean with ocean props. The player is a fish. Enemies are sharks who move randomly or chase us. To move, use left and right for rotation, up and down for vertical movement, X to move forward, and Y to collect treasure. The challenges we face as the player are: we lose if we go out of bounds or if a shark collides with us. Finally, the game structure is to play, win or lose, and restart.